Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Happy whatever day this is. Today's story is from a book called 52 Times Britain Was a Bell End. And it's called We Robbed People's Graves So Much We Had to Booby Trap Graveyards with Automatic Shotguns. There's nothing the British love more than tutting at people standing on the left of escalators in London and desecrating the final resting place of the dead. Doctors in the UK have wanted corpses to go up inside since around AD 300. Just because doctors didn't know anything back then doesn't mean we didn't need to root around in a corpse before declaring, yeah, I'll probably just put a lot of leeches on their testicles, and if it's a real emergency, maybe I'll drill a hole in their face. For centuries, though, the religious views of the British prevented doctors from practising cadavers in the open. Until the 14th century, messing around with corpses for medicine or fun was outlawed entirely, and well up until the mid-1700s, dissection was allowed only on hanged criminals, which was a massive problem if you were a doctor who needed to learn how bodies work, and an even bigger one if you chose to specialise in necks. Surgeons would often have a hard time getting bodies from the hangman and have to hand over bribes, because even people who killed people routinely for a living thought it was ethically a bit iffy. And so a dark industry of organised grave robbers sprung up. By the late 18th century, there was a thriving black market specialising in corpses. Gangs of grave robbers supplied anatomists with corpse after corpse, only slowing down when they wanted to control the supply in order to keep the prices up. It got out of hand pretty quick. Shakespeare's grave even spared a line to ward off potential grave robbers reading, "Cursed be he that moves my bones," instead of, for instance, mentioning his wife. And he didn't even die in the grave robbing heyday. Two body snatchers in Edinburgh, William Burke and William Hare, got impatient waiting for people to die in order to get a paycheck, and killed 16 people themselves in order to sell the bodies to anatomists. The problem got so bad that an industry also sprung up to stop grave robbers from robbing graves. Rich people could afford mort safes, giant iron cages to house the dead that would prevent robbers from getting in, or hired people to stand guard until the body had rotted enough that it was no longer useful to surgeons. Like a bouncer, but for your granny's coffin. Then there were booby traps. There are reports of cemetery guns being in regular use across England and Scotland to protect the dead. Guns hooked up to tripwires and loaded with rock salt, pepper shot, or plain old lethal ammunition. One way or the other, those doctors were getting a corpse. Still undeterred, grave robbers would pose as mourners and widows to scope out the cemetery during the day, whilst grave keepers would, in turn, wait until dark to lay their booby traps down. Meanwhile, the poor had to rely on placing stones and flowers on their loved ones' graves to detect disturbances, and then I guess just kind of know, oh, hey, they dug up Janice afterwards. The end. Don't forget to like and subscribe and press the wee bell notification. And a huge big thank you to all my subscribers, patrons and members. See you next week. Bye bye.